The infamous jet fuel doesn't get that hot. It can't melt the beams. It's been done over time and time again. The beams did not melt. Credible experts never said the beams melted. What has been said, what has been proven, is that the temperature of jet fuel can soften the beams. It's been shown, it's been proven. It can soften the beams, which takes away their strength.
2001, Scientific American told us that they just don't build them as tough as the World Trade Center. Considering that Meridian Plaza in Philadelphia burned fiercely for 19 hours yet never collapsed, how could the South Tower at the World Trade Center fall after burning less than 1 hour? How could the North Tower fall after burning only for 2? How could the jet fuel have caused the collapse when the Federal Emergency Management and other government agencies have stated that most of the jet fuel was gone in the initial fireball? Moreover, how could the fires have caused the collapse at all, since recent fire tests by Cardington found that a steel building survived fires in experiments with extreme temperatures beyond the range possible with jet fuel? Since the black smoke coming from the buildings means that the fire was oxygen-starved and could not have reached its maximum temperature of 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, and steel melts at a much higher temperature of 2500 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly 700 degrees hotter than the maximum temperature of the fire, how could cleanup crews have found melted steel in the basements? How could, days later, NASA satellite images show hot spots in the buildings that still exceeded the maximum temperatures possible? Explosives like C4, however, create temperatures of 3000 degrees Fahrenheit, which easily melt steel. Why did Fire Engineering magazine tell us that no steel building has ever been destroyed by fire, that the World Trade Center investigation was a half-baked farce? Why was all of the important evidence illegally destroyed, some before the investigation began?
Theory number 3. Look at all the floors below. See all those explosions happening? No. Those are not explosions. The pressure of the floors collapsing, air's got to go somewhere. What's the easiest route for it? Out the fucking windows. Fucking idiots, man.
Firefighters and police describing explosions. A lot of them.
The secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion.
Just floor by floor instead of popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Yeah,
if
detonated.
they were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
Looks sort of like the building just demolished.
Even if there was no secondary explosives in the building.
Kind of like gunfire. You know, bang, 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 bang. And then all of a sudden, 3 big...
Pentagon. The plane, I don't know, disseminated, vanished, disappeared. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. There were pieces of the plane scattered all over the Pentagon lawn where the plane hit the Pentagon. It's on film. People have pictures of the bits of plane.
The Pentagon. Vanishing airplane.
From my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual side of the building that's crashed in, and as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around, which would indicate that the entire plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon.
Plane that crashed on the way to Washington, D.C., wherever it landed, there weren't any parts of the plane. Yes, there were. It's odd that there's not as much as you would expect.
I've seen the pictures. It looks like there's nothing there except for a hole in the ground.
Basically, that's right. The only thing you could see from where we were was a big gouge in the earth and some broken trees. We could see some people walking around in the area, but from where we could see, there wasn't much left.
Any large pieces of debris at all?
No, there was nothing that you could distinguish that a plane had crashed there.
That's really all you see is a large crater in the ground and just tiny, tiny bits of debris. There's been at least one report that the investigators out there, and there are hundreds of them, as I said tonight, have found nothing larger than a phone book.
There's people that have these pre-Google map geological photographs that show the crash site existing in the 90s. And these fucking dumbass conspiracy guys cling onto it with their fucking nails. You know, it's been proven and shown that's a different site. There it is in real life. It may be kind of similar, but that's what that picture is. See, conspiracy stupid fucks. No matter how much you slap them in the face with reality, they don't want to believe it. They want to believe the fantasy world.
Hard to say. You know, there was the ditch that they showed, that divot in the ground has been found on Google Earth Maps from '96. So the local people, even the local coroner, said there was no bodies. And in any plane crash, and, you know, the listeners, I invite you to just do a Google image search on any kind of plane crash, 757 plane crash or just commercial plane crash, and the Google images, and you're going to see huge sections of fuselage, especially an aircraft that large as a 757, and because that's like an old 707, just missing a couple of the engines. Similar in size. It's a big aircraft. The tail is huge. And so there are parts of an aircraft crash that just don't disappear. That was the one thing I looked at that day, and I said, that was not a plane crash.